Good morning, guys and gals. Charlene on the call too.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
What's so good about it?
We'll keep things going at a pretty quick pace here. Tom, why haven't you slept for 24 hours?
Because around midnight I was dragged into a TRT that I just got out of like 15 minutes ago.
A TRT?
Basically, it's everything is going to shit, and everybody who's anybody needs to log into the call and help figure out what's going on.
Oh, this is a work thing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, hey, hopefully this conversation helped to lift you up a little bit. So we're going to start with our usual round robin here, everybody. I'll do a simple question first. A victory you guys have, you'd like to share, a personal victory from this past week. After that, we'll go around and we'll talk about like one struggle that we've had or that we anticipate having this coming week. And then I'll do a little talk on stepping into the best version of yourself and help us all to kind of recast our own visions so we kind of get super energized to go into this coming week. Sound good to you guys?
Sounds great.
Sweet. I'll start. So, fun fact, it is actually pretty easy to get on-plan foods at Mod Pizza here in Edwardsville, Illinois. And so I went there this past Thursday. I got their gluten-free crust, the red sauce, all the greens, and stacked meat and veggies up super high on top of this thing. And it was amazing and delicious. And when I brought it home, like it was 100% the temptation was to eat the entire thing in one sitting. Very proud, though. I told myself as I go into this, I'm going to eat until I start to feel that sense of fullness. Then I'm going to stop. I'm going to drink a cup of water. I'm going to wait 10 minutes and see if all the satiety signals kick in. And they did. So I held to the plan. I'm proud of myself in that. I felt pretty good about it. Plus, I had some leftovers to have at a future meal. So stoked about that. I'm going to send it to my guy, Nick. Nick, a personal victory from this past week.
Good morning. This past week has been a kick in the teeth, but I will say that I've managed to maintain my weight. I am down 10 pounds from our last time we talked, and so I did not put a bunch of weight on over the last week, so I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm proud of you too. Nick, is it okay if I kind of very briefly share some of the challenges
that's
you
okay.
had? It's like Nick's father recently passed on. So from all of us, our condolences. I know it's a tough time, and I'm really proud of you for holding the line in this difficult season, man. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you.
Tom, victories from you from the last week.
Well, I've had a few, so I'll be brief. For starters, I've gotten back into photography. That was something I'm very happy about, and that's a lot of screw ups and a lot of mishaps. I put in some overtime to make sure everybody got on track. So I'm proud of myself for that. Let me think. A couple other things. So these are related to the dieting and all that good stuff. So I have to go to the office on Tuesday and wear normie clothes. Cue dramatic music, broken glass, and cats screeching. So I put on some of my older corporate casual clothes that I haven't really worn very much since before the pandemic, and they fit beautifully.
That's awesome, dude.
They're looking good. And also, so one of my favorite old haunts before I started this was Taco Bell. And I will tell you this, the Power Bowl on the Taco Bell menu is actually pretty good. It's carb free. It has all that Taco Bell goodness, but without the carbs.
Good tip. Taco Bell Power Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's protein heavy, I presume.
Steak you can ask for, but it's pretty good.
That's awesome, man.
Well, it does have rice in it, but rice isn't the worst carb in the world.
All righty. Well, send it over to Paul. Paul, what's a victory you've had or two from the past week?
Man, I just completed a 3-day fast yesterday, so that's absolutely a victory for me. Something I've been wanting to do for a little bit. And then beyond that, I set a new all-time low weight record for me. I think I was probably like 14 years old when I weighed this low.
That's awesome. I want to brag on you two a little bit. Paul sent me his weight measurement yesterday, and I'm like, wow, man, that's great progress. So you haven't weighed this little since you were 14 years old, huh?
Yeah, it's probably been at least since 14. I mean, when I was a freshman, I was, let's see, like 13. And I was 5'10", 180 pounds. So as a sophomore, I think I was, 6 foot and 220. So
Wow, man, that's a hell of a growth spurt.
yeah.
Yeah, that's goals there, buddy.
Anyway, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Charlene, one personal victory from this past week.
My doctor took me off of insulin last Thursday. So I'm, checking my blood sugars on a daily basis to make sure that they stay in range. My fasting blood sugars have been what they usually are, and they have been. So that's a good thing for me.
That's wonderful.
Very good. And your A1C numbers were looking really good too, right?
They are. It's down to 6.2, and she says continue what I'm doing. That's the reason why she took me off the insulin, because it was down to 6.2. So I just, if I'm tracking my blood, taking my blood sugars every day to make sure it stays under what it, the high numbers that will cause my A1C to go up.
Cool. It's an amazing testimony to the power of healthy eating and consistent exercise. So
yeah, that's what it is too.
Congratulations, Charlie. You deserve to feel good about that. And she did that. Everybody here should know this. She did that while being on a cruise for like 8 days in the last couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was rough. So, but I did eat healthy, and I exercised a lot. So.
I ate Taco Bell.
That's my grandson. He's here. He does eat.
Hi,
Taco
Mason.
Bell. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's flip the scripts now. So, sending it back to Tom. A struggle you had this past week, or a struggle you anticipate having this coming week. If it's a struggle from this past week, like did you overcome it, or what would be your plan to overcome it?
I definitely would like to preface this by saying, I still find myself cheating on my diet sometimes, but we're all human. Nobody's perfect, and I try my best to make sure that doesn't turn to an eating spiral. But overall, the trend is that my eating has vastly improved. I just think what I really need to do is just keep cutting breads out, which is definitely what I've been doing with breakfast. I've taken out the toast, the biscuit, all that good stuff, and I'm just just making sure that it's whatever it is I'm usual. It's all that breakfasty goodness minus that. And then the other thing is, like, my biggest struggle this week is, my biggest struggle last week is that I had a very stressful week at work, but I did spiral out into an one of my trademark all-out terrible fast food every day Tom Warner eating binges. I held the line. I'm proud of that, and I think I deserve to feel good about it. The biggest challenge this week is I have to go into the office on Tuesday. I'm almost 100% from home, so this is never easy for me. It's like, I'll tell you, it's like one thing I've come to learn about life is that, it's like if you go back to a location or a place where your old habits prevailed, it can be easy to fall back into those habits. It's really the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Yeah. There's this amazing study that was done that I want to share with you guys, and it was about cocaine addiction and relapse. And it was that people who fall into a cocaine addiction in a home environment go to rehab and then come back, have like a 90% relapse rate. But interestingly, soldiers that go overseas into a foreign environment, fall into a cocaine habit, and then come back to the United States, get rehab, and then go home, have like a 10% relapse rate, which is a fascinating difference. It's completely the opposite. And it's because the environmental triggers that started the problem in the first place don't exist in that home environment in the latter scenario. You guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a really important point, that if you know you tend to be triggered, or there's certain places you go that are just trouble for you. Like if you're an alcoholic, you shouldn't go to a bar. It's a problem waiting to happen, right? Now it's very easy for all of us, if we're not alcoholics, to appreciate that, but there's all these innocuous, super innocent seeming situations for us where, like, maybe if every time we go to Taco Bell, we just can't resist the chalupa or whatever it is, right? If that's the lead domino, or like maybe it's, hey, I go out to IHOP with, no, maybe I'll back up a bit. I go out, I get 2 drinks with friends on Saturday night. It becomes 5 drinks. We stay up late. We go to IHOP. I wake up on Sunday morning feeling terribly guilty about all the decisions that I made. And then I just say, screw it. I've already blown my diet. I may as well eat whatever I want. And so Sunday becomes a meltdown also. You got to know those triggers and those lead dominoes for yourself. And this is unique to you. Tom.
One thing I was going to say is, it's like you actually brought up the whole, well, screw it, my diet's already shot, no point in going back. It's like that's the important thing there is, it's like that's what's called the sunken cost fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a logical fallacy that says, it's like, hey, this has already happened. I'm already this deep in, so I might as well keep going. And it's like that's definitely one of the biggest things that trips up any endeavor a human being can engage in.
True facts.
So definitely good to be aware of that. If you've veered from your diet or whatever, just realize, what, I need to keep, it's like I need to hold the faith here. I need to keep going, and I need to continue to address whatever it is that's slipping me up, no matter how long it takes to address it. The key is to basically, like, if you're wrestling with your demons, is to not stop wrestling with them until they're in a stranglehold. That's just
Sure.
the bottom line.
Love it. Sai, what about you, sir? A struggle from this past week, or a struggle you anticipate this coming week?
I'm actually back from a kind of a 3-week vacation, very minimalistic gym, and I tried very best to stay on the nutrition track, but the workload was crazy, so I was not able to take in as many calories as I should. But this week, after I was back, I was able to hit gym, so that's kind of like my personal victory. Like 4 days this week. My body's sore as hell, I promise. But I still, I felt like giving up, like middle of the day, like cancel the reservation, don't go to the gym today. But an hour before the gym, I go back in and I check in. Like, I just want to go do what I could. The challenge I see this week is, Greg, staying on track, I guess, like bounce back into the game. That's it.
Getting back into the consistent habits now that you're back from Canada, sounds like. Well, we're here to help give you the accountability to do that. So, and I want to commend you too. So I'll do a little bragging on Sai here. When Sai says that, like, he was struggling with his diet was still, compared to like the average American diet, his diet was freaking immaculate the entire time that he was in Canada. So, I mean, like, people that come to us and get started with us, their food journals are a train wreck compared to what Sai was doing. Sai was like thoughtful and intentional, and his diet, like, even suboptimal situation, he did really, really well. We intentionally turned down his caloric intake when he was up there because he wasn't gonna be able to exercise as much. So when he's here, he's hitting like 5 wads a week. He's doing his sports on the weekend, and so he's very, very active. We made some intentional adjustments when he was over in the across the border for that reason. But anyway, Cy, you're the man. Good job, brother. Keep on going. Let's see, Nick, a struggle from this past week or a struggle you foresee this coming week?
We'll talk about this upcoming week. Just trying to get back in the swing of things. So my goal is to get back to the gym and get back to really focusing on my diet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Because I don't know if I saw your name on the whiteboard this past week. When I go in there, I'm like looking for Nick. There's no Nick on the whiteboard.
No, I wasn't there this past week.
Well, I mean, you're allowed to take some time and, grieve and cope with the loss. Hopefully, coming to the gym can be a part of your healing process this coming week.
That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Paul, what about you, sir? A struggle from this past week or a struggle for this upcoming week?
Struggle for the upcoming week is just going to be the busy schedule. So it's going to require the food prep, as always, tomorrow.
Absolutely. On that topic, Tom, bring food with you when you go into the office this upcoming week.
That might not be the worst idea on earth.
Or you can also pull a Paul and just go into a longer fast, which fasting, by the way, is an entirely legitimate option. Like opting to not eat is an entirely legitimate option if you know, hey, I'm going into the office and the break room is full of stuff that's going to jack up my whole mojo.
The good news is this. I got my snack food demons under control. The only thing I really eat that's maybe remotely off are those veggie straws. You saw those, but those aren't really the worst thing for you probably. But it's like when it comes to it, it's like my lunch demons. It's like those are it. It's like the office is a pretty winnable battle. The MasterCard office. It's a top tech company, so they have a lot of delicious, nutritious, very wholesome food in their cafeteria. They do not scrimp or cut corners when it comes to nutrition there. So, yeah, that's awesome. A winnable battle.
I love it. Love it. All right, finally, Charlene, sending it over to you. A struggle from this past week or a struggle you foresee this coming week?
This week should be okay. Things are finally starting to slow down at work with me coming back from vacation, getting everything caught back up the week I was gone. And so I think this week is going to be fine. The struggle is just staying on track with my diet. So.
And what do you mean? What exactly is it that threatens to trip you up? And this could be a lesson for all of us too. Maybe some of the rest of us struggle with the same things.
Not preparing food. Like, so if I don't cook, like if I cook at nighttime, I'll cook enough to make for lunch the next day. And if I don't cook at night, then I don't have lunch the next day, which means that I eat out or I don't eat at all. So and then I make bad decisions if I sometimes make bad decisions, or most of the time it's I just don't eat. And I'll skip.
So then what has to happen for Charlene to be doing that meal prep in the evening? Like what steps have to happen first? What are the lead dominoes for you?
The lead the thing that I have to, like, my routine has to stay the same. So like I go to work and then I go to CrossFit at 5:15 and then I come home. I usually try to come straight home. So then I, fix my meal and then I have dinner and then I, put the other half up for lunch the next day. But if I have to stop and do something after CrossFit and it takes me an hour or two to get home, then I'm not going to cook anything. I'm not going to, I'm just going to eat some fruit and whatever is easy to just pop in the microwave instead of cooking a meal.
Got it. So you have your game plan for this coming week. You know what you need to do.
Yeah. It's just staying to schedule. I'm just like creature of habit, staying in, and then when that comes out of routine, then everything seems to fall.
Right. Raise your hand if you can relate to that. Like if that's also your story. Yeah. Guys, one of my mentors, one of his sayings is do the boring work. Like there's some of this aspect is not super glamorous, but it makes all the difference in the world. A lot of it is going to go grocery shopping, having the foods, prepping the foods, having a game plan, thinking through the visit to the office ahead of time. Am I going to fast? Am I going to eat? What's the game plan? Doing that prerequisite coursework before going into the week. Before I go on, can you guys hear me okay? I'm actually outside and the rain just started. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So one of the most useful things that's ever been taught to me about how to be healthy, live healthy on a consistent long-term basis is to constantly recast the vision to yourself about who you want to be. What is the exciting vision for yourself that you want to step into? And so I constantly am revisiting that for myself so that I can put myself into how do I want to look? How do I want to feel? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of example do I want to set? What kind of impact do I want to have? I'm constantly revisiting that best version, that best vision of myself, because it helps me first get motivated to do the stuff. And then also, the more I picture it, the easier it is to step into it. We've talked about this somewhat on this podcast or on these conversations before, but I'm going to kind of give you guys a short overview of my vision for myself. And then I'd love to hear from you guys about what your vision for yourself is. And I want you guys to know it's totally okay to be fully transparent and open. We're here, we're all friends, and we're here to encourage and support each other in becoming those people. To some extent, when you speak it or you verbalize it, it's like you've heard that you speak it into existence. If you hear yourself saying, here is who I am, here is what I do, it has more power to drive you to become that person. And then we also all have the accountability to each other to take action on this stuff, because we're going to be talking again within the next week or two here about, hey, did we do these things, or the things that it takes to become this person? Does that make sense to you guys? Cool. So like, if I go through like my goals, like here are some of the things that come up, things that are directly impacted by my decision to eat healthy or to go to the gym when maybe I don't feel like going to the gym. Like I feel like checking myself out of the class, like Sai referenced earlier. So anyway, for me, it's this. I want to have incredible amounts of energy and stamina to be able to go out and literally do anything that my life requires or anything that I'm inspired to do. Like if my son wants to go to the water park and play in the tidal pool and run up the hill to go to the tallest water slides, if my friends want to go stand-up paddle boarding, if I want to go and I want to do kickboxing, I want to do submission grappling, I want to be a top performer in the CrossFit gym, I want to have the energy, the strength, the stamina, the endurance, the flexibility to be able to do all of these things with no limitation. There's literally nothing in life that is out of realm or out of reach for me. I can go snowboarding. I can go rock climbing. My son cannot outpace me in anything. If he wants to go to the theme park and play all day, I come back from work, he wants to play soccer, I can go and I can do that. I have all the energy, all the stamina, all the strength it takes to do all of those things. That is who I want to be and what I step into from a performance standpoint. I want to feel great in my own body. I want to have this sense of self-esteem, self-respect that comes from doing hard things day in, day out. Seeing myself doing the things that I said I was going to do builds this sense of self-worth and self-esteem. I love to feel that, and I know that it comes from doing the hard things day in, day out, going to the gym, saying no to the alcohol and the sugar and all that. It all comes from making these routine, boring, everyday decisions leads to that sense of self that is just an amazing feeling, and the feeling of knowing I'm legitimately setting an example for my wife and my son so that they succeed, and the people around me so that they succeed, so that I am the lead domino. I'm the trigger for everybody here in this call, everybody that I cross paths with, to live their best lives. I want to be that inspirational figure to my son where he looks up to me, not just when he's 10 and I'm big and bad and all that, but also when he's a teenager, he still like has that esteem, that respect. Like he still looks up to me when he becomes a full grown man. I want to be that light in his life where I show him how to be the kind of man that treats women right, respects his mother, that has like just that leadership quality. I want to be that person so that he becomes that one day. I want to have the kind of physique where I feel great and I'm keeping sub 10% body fat year round. Whenever my son and I go to the water park, almost every time some stranger comes up to me and asks me, hey, what do you do for a workout, man? Like, what's your diet like? Because your body is ridiculous. I want to know what you do. It's weirdly satisfying for people who are complete strangers to come ask me what it is that I'm doing when I'm at a water park hanging out with my son. Like, it's kind of cool and kind of different, and comes from the fact that, again, to be clear, I do not come from a genetic heritage of lean athleticism like obesity, hypertension, diabetes, glaucoma. That is my genetic heritage. I am the outlier in all of this. I'm the one that went and broke the mold, and I'm breaking this family history of heart disease and obesity and hypertension, diabetes. I want to be the one that changes that for my family history and my family legacy so that my son and then his kids, they are healthy and they have the kind of physical energy, mental stamina to be their absolute best in their work, whatever that work is. That's what it is for me. That's what kind of drives me, the person I want to step into. Tom, who do you want to be? What do you want to be? What is it for you?
Kudos to everything you just said. Here's what I'm gonna say. I like who I am just fine already, but I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet because the improvement I want to make to myself is short and sweet. I love who I am. I really do. The only thing I want is to be me, minus the elevated risks I have for liver cancer, heart attack, and stroke right now. That's all I want to be. I love the Tom Warner brand. It's a pretty good brand. I'm a smart guy. I'm a funny guy. I'm a pretty fun-loving guy. A lot of people love me. Some people hate me, but hey, I'm only human. And it's like, I just want to just be physically healthier so that it's like I can wake up when I'm 60 or 70 and not have to take 45 pills and feel like feel like a knife is going through me every time I take one step. That's really what I want at this point. I love my personality. I love who I am as a person. I know who I am as a person, but I just want to be able to preserve who I am as a person.
I love that. And I love you, Tom, too. I love who you are as a person. And right now, my dude, you're doing all the things that it takes to have everything that you want. So if it's working, keep doing it. Keep going, man. You're killing the game.
I gotta make some improvements here and there, but this is a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna wrestle my demons every day until they're dead.
Love it. Sai, what is it for you, my friend? Who do you want to be? What do you want to
do? That's a pretty tough question to respond to, I guess. I don't know, level up my mental game, basically. I think I improved from my discipline stance after I started CrossFit. I procrastinate less these days. Most of my to-do list is always checked in by end of the day, mostly at work and also the outdoor activities. I used to be very lazy to go on a 5-mile walk every Saturday before, but after I hit CrossFit, I was able to. And like you, Greg, I want to be like a good example for my kids in the future. Like if I have them, I want to be like a good example. So I think I'm having a pretty good head start, I guess.
I think so. I definitely think so. And a good example for leading your kids, but also your grandkids. I was talking to Caroline about this the other day, and I'm like, when I'm 80, I want to be like the kind of 80-year-old that like my grandkids, like they want to go to the theme park or the water park and run. Like, yeah, I'll go with them. I could totally do that. They want to go snowboarding. I want to do that with them. That's exciting to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, awesome, dude. You're on the path. I tip my hat to you. Keep going. Charlene, what is it for you? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be?
I just sorry, I just want to be healthy. I want to be able to hang out with my grandchildren and go places with them.
What is healthy for Charlene? Be as specific as possible.
For me, healthy is being physically fit and not. I'm sorry, I got an itch in my throat. And being able to not have to take medications because my diet's not healthy or things like that. Sorry.
I continue to grill you with more questions, Charlene, because I feel like there's so much more we can unpack. We keep peeling back the onion, but I know you're kind of going through a little bit of a coughing fit right now. So
Yeah, sorry.
I'll give you one to kind of recompose. I'll send it over to Nick. Nick, what is it for you? Like, how do you want to look? How do you want to be? Who are you stepping into this week?
I think I'm just trying to be a healthier version of me to be a good influence for my kids, be around for a long time. You know, heart disease and heart issues run in my family. So does cancer. And I want to be able to battle that to the best of my abilities. Not have one hand tied behind my back because I decided to go sit down, eat donuts, and drink beer. So I think, just getting a healthier version so I can be around for everybody.
What is a healthier version? How do you look? How do you feel? How do you perform? What can you do?
Lose the weight, have a lot more energy, and eating healthy. I feel great. I feel better, 10 times better just since I started this journey back in April. So,
and
absolutely.
Hopefully this is empowering for you, Nick. Like, you're really just scratching the surface of what is possible here. You know, you've made great progress. You should be excited about that. Hopefully it's also exciting to you that there are still so many great things ahead. There's so much amazingness that you can still unlock. So let yourself be excited. There's the best is yet to come, sir. Paul, what about you, sir? Well, who do you want to be? What do you want to be? How do you want to look, feel, perform?
A lot of my goals actually mimic yours, G. The body composition is my biggest thing with the body fat percentage. I want that somewhere down in that 10, 12%. To be able to do whatever I want with my children as my oldest is, coming into being a young man. There's a lot of things that I need to be able to do and teach him and my daughter to set that example for her, what she should be looking for in a man. And then for my youngest, obviously, to reset that example the same as I am for his brother. And then to be able to do that with my grandchildren as well. I played a lot of sports. I've been in a few bad accidents. I've done a lot of damage to my body up to this point. So really from here on out, it's trying to protect what I have left and to maximize the value in that time and years. So
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Like all of us, none of us are as young as we used to be. And some of the game changes as you get older, and that's okay. The good news is the human body is so plastic and adaptable. Paul, as long as like you're making these moves, like you said before, like you're moving your body back to the teenage version of you. And none of us are going to be teenagers again, and that's okay. We're just going to be super, super healthy 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and it's totally possible to do that. If any of you guys have done a workout with Vicky Beaver, who's in her 60s here at CFE, or Linda Shu, like these women are unbelievable. Like 60 years old, they can do stuff and just lap the teenagers around. It is entirely possible to do this, and you guys are on that path right now. Let yourself be excited about that. Like I told Nick, the best is yet to come, guys. It all starts with doing the things we got to do this weekend to make this coming week successful, and then actually like living out that vision and doing the things this week. Do any of you guys have any closing thoughts or closing questions before we wrap up here?
I'm
Cool.
good.
All right. Paul, Nick, Cy, Charlene, thank you all for joining us here.
Thank you.
Have yourselves an amazing week, guys. We'll talk again soon. I'll see you guys in the next one.
The
So yeah, have a great weekend.